forth. Hello, this is Rusty and Ricky with Real Texas Capital. We're going to have a conversation today about getting approval for a hard money or a private loan. We've kind of identified 7 steps that we think are critical in assuring the most highly likeliness that you'll go ahead and get approval. So number 1, I think it's important for you to know your success formula and share that with your lender. You know, generally we see often that kind of a rule of thumb is that you want to be able to purchase the property at 65% to 70% of the after rehab value, less your repairs. So your formula needs to be shared or with your hard money lender. That way they can kind of see how you're underwriting the project and to ensure that you've got enough potential of making a profit on the deal.
Yeah. And then beyond that, Russ, you know, there's a point of communication where you got to clearly communicate that to your lender, what it is that you're trying to accomplish. You want to have a very good summary, very organized. What is your purchase price? What is it that you're going to do to the property? What are the extensiveness of the renovations? How much money are you bringing to the table? You're also going to have a clear knowledge of what the value of the property is worth after you're done doing the renovations, and how long it's going to take you to sell, and how long you're going to want to borrow money, and have that written down in a concise plan that's very easy to understand, a good executive summary. In other words, when you're talking to us or any private money lender, they want to understand how well do you put together your summary of your project.
Well, and one of the ways you can present that information, you're going to generally going to have to fill out a loan application. Now, I don't want to scare you. Loan applications with private lenders are not as daunting as they might be with a bank. Usually it's about 20 questions. Most of the questions are about the property itself, as Rick mentioned, the rehab budget, the ARV, et cetera, and then some information about the entity that's borrowing and a few other components associated with your underwriting you as the individual. So definitely going to need to get the loan application, and part of that is fill it out completely, truthfully, and don't try to hide anything.
Yeah. And one of the key components to underwriting as you as the borrower and us as the lender is making sure that you're not overvaluing the after repair value or the market value when you are done. So do your research, make sure you've got the right ARV market value for your project, and feel conservative about that number. Don't exaggerate it. Make sure that it's high enough to make you worthy of spend time on the project, and to communicate that to the lender, and understanding how you arrived at your numbers. How did you do your due diligence on that? And then to support that, you also should provide very clear pictures of the good parts of the property, as well as the parts of the property that also need to be fixed up. So providing very good comprehensive pictures and or videos is really a key component to getting approved for a loan, for sure.
And then after you fill out the application, or as part of the application, you need to have a very detailed contractor scope of work, down to the flooring, the paint, the roof, et cetera, so that you and your contractor know exactly what the responsibilities are going to be performed on the project, and to share that with your lender so they can kind of review that and make sure that it makes sense, make sure that you're not getting taken advantage of on the cost, and so everybody understands what the execution of the project is going to be.
Yeah, and once you have all that put together, just know that when you go to borrow money, most, if not all, lenders are going to require you to have skin in the game, which is a little bit of your own cash put into the project up front, so that you have something vested into the project more than just sweat equity. And so oftentimes that takes 10 to 20% of the purchase price, depending on how big of a project it is overall. Just know, generally speaking, 10 to 20% of what the acquisition price of the property is what most lenders require. And if you don't happen to have those funds available, or you're not that liquid to be able to do that, then bring in family or friends or a business associate or somebody that can help bring some funds to the table so that it makes it a viable project and you have your own funds. And should that not even be an option for you, and you might be have other properties that are free and clear, have a lot of equity in them, and that's another way that you can get started in this business. And just know that most lenders require some form of skin in the game, whether that's property or your own cash or borrowed cash. So
Good point. Good point. I think the last thing is you've got to perform, and perform means you've got to pay the loan back on time, and not be late or miss any payments. But really, the performance starts the first time you talk with a lender. You need to be well organized with your communication. You need to have return phone calls quickly, return emails quickly. I mean, we start judging day one when we talk to that borrower to make sure that we feel comfortable working with them, and transparency from day one is critical. So those are our 7 points, what we feel like are the most important components of getting approval for a hard money loan or a private loan. And we'd love to talk to you about your project. So you feel free to go to our website at rtx.capital and learn more about us. And if you feel like we might be worth talking to, we'd love to have that conversation with you. Thank you so much.
thank you.